What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we are talking a little bit about the N54, the 135 build that I have going on. We haven't quite started the build yet. We were doing some refreshing on the engine. We were waiting on a couple other parts to come in. But one of the most common questions that I keep getting about this build is whether I was going to run the upgraded twins or I was going to run a single turbo setup. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I just got in the upgraded twins from Musselman. Ordered those from Keys Motorsports. I'll have all that stuff linked down below. Now, obviously the N54 community is pretty massive, so there's a lot of information online about people running different setups. And even when I first announced that I had the 135 build, so many people poured in with suggestions and advice and opinions, which is great. But this is the route that I plan on going, and I'll give you guys an idea as to why I plan on going this route. So obviously, first off the bat, we are doing upgraded twins. Now, the reason that I went for the Musselman twins is mainly because of Musselman's reputation. They have a really good reputation in general when it comes to their products. So I'm actually running their oil thermostat on my GTS. I was really impressed with the quality overall with that oil thermostat. And so right off the bat, I kind of knew that they had a good idea as to what they were doing when it came to fabricating products. And after doing a little bit of research, it was also abundantly clear that they had a relatively good, pretty much flawless reputation online when it came to their products in general. So in regards to the actual twin setups on N54s, there are so many different options that you can do. You can go with Dynamic Auto Works, you can go with the China turbos like the 17Ts. There are a lot of companies that make twin setups for the N54. I don't plan on keeping twins on this car forever. I think that the single turbo setup on the N54 is just the way to go. I think it looks better, I think it drives better, I think it's gonna make more power, I think it's gonna sound better. Pretty much across the board, it's a no-brainer. I would much rather have a single turbo setup. I've also learned with talking to enough shops and enough people that have built N54s and that really do this for a living in the N54 community, no matter how much you spend, whether you go with Pure or any of these other companies, it just seems that the twins don't really last that long. N54s in general just tend to have this looming reputation of not the best reliability, and I'm sort of seeing that same trend when it comes to the twin setups that people are putting on these cars. But the real reason that I wanted to run twins before I ran the single, rather than just like jumping straight into a big single setup, is because I wanted to get as much experience as possible running twins on this car. I personally have never owned an N54, and I know that this community is really big, and there's a lot of people that ask me for advice when it comes to these cars. Without me having the experience of actually owning one with a twin setup, it's hard for me to give accurate recommendations or advice. So I tend to do this with a lot of the cars that I work on or build. I try to go through the steps myself and get a first-hand experience as to what it's like owning the cars. And in this case, I want to be able to give you guys my honest opinion and review on what it's like to actually own twins on an N54. But like I said, the ultimate goal is to have this car running with a nice big single. I think it's just going to be a much cooler build all around, having a nice big old single turbo in that engine bay. But really right now, the focus is to just get this car running, get it put back together, and bring it back home so I can start working on all of the 1M conversion stuff. You know, when I initially bought this car, I kind of figured we'd be able to slap it together really quick and just get things going. Turns out there's a lot more that needs to be done, which just happens sometimes, but there's also parts that we need to get that are difficult to get. The shop that's helping out is also pretty busy, so we need to find time to fit me in. There's just a lot of moving parts to get this car actually back on the road. So I'm hoping within the next few weeks, maybe 3 weeks tops, we can get this car back into my garage so I can actually start doing what I do, which is a lot of like the cosmetic stuff, the body stuff. I am going to try and do the rear fenders, the cutting, the welding, all that myself. I have a buddy of mine who's going to help out, but for the majority of all of the body work, I'm going to be handling that until we get to paint and the final touches. I will let a body shop handle that part. So here we are. Here are the Musselman twins. These are made, I believe, in Netherlands. That's where they make these. But I did watch a video of someone who did a review on the Dynamic Auto Works Flowmax turbos for the N54, and the fabrication on those looked really good. Like the manifolds looked really nice. So if you decide to go to that route, that's probably another really good route. I had a lot of you guys suggesting to go with Dynamic Auto Works. I've had a lot of you guys suggesting to go with Pures, and then obviously a lot of people saying to go singles, and I'm not really sure which single setup I'll do yet. I am talking to a company that has a really good reputation, and they do a lot of single setups for different engines, and and I'll probably end up going with them. I don't want to talk about them yet because I'm not certain I'm going to use them, but we will we'll cover that down the road when we actually get to that point. But these look pretty good. I'm curious to see how, you know, everything turns out once it's in the car and how much power we make. I'm not trying to make 900 horsepower. You know, I think for the car, this setup, 600s is going to be like a really, really good setup in a 135. I'd rather be able to drive my car and have it relatively quick than have a really fast car that only works sometimes. The oil cooler looks really, really nice. Musselman oil cooler comes with all the fittings and everything down there. And then of course the oil thermostat for the N54, which looks pretty much the same as the S55. These are really, really nice. I love the one that I have in my S55. Also pretty easy to install. So this is going to be the setup for now. You guys comment down below if you have ran the Musselman turbos. I don't know a lot of people that have ran these, so curious to see how that turns out. For the most part, when it comes down to deciding which turbos you're going to go with, it's going to be mostly about budget. You can buy some really cheap turbos, like the China turbos, I think are, I want to say like $700. And people have actually had some really good results with them. But I think this is going to be a very good preliminary setup. I'm excited to get into some N54 content with you guys and obviously get that car on the road and just have some fun. I've always wanted to build a 135, so this one's going to be a blast. Ain't it, bro? You excited for 135? Yes, you are. So I'll keep you guys in the loop. Hopefully we have the car on the road within the next few weeks here, and then obviously we'll bring it back home and start doing that 1M conversion, which is definitely going to take a lot longer than I thought as well, because getting those parts is proving to be quite difficult. But I did order a few things, and we should be able to get the ball rolling relatively quick here. And then down the road, we can upgrade to the big single turbo setup, which I think is just going to be really, really cool. I can't wait to try that out. But let me know what setup you guys are running on your N54s. Are you running twins? Are you running singles? What do you recommend? What is your favorite company to go with and why? It's really hard to get like an accurate read on these setups because when consumers represent different turbo manufacturers, it's a lot like when consumers represent different tuners. They're kind of like die hard about one brand, and there's just such an influx of so many different people running so many different brands that they swear are the best. Very similar to tuners. Everybody's tuner is the best tuner. You guys know how it is. So that's kind of why I like to get like my own experience, my own firsthand on some of these products to see how it really stacks up in the long run. So if you guys have your own honest reviews on some of these products, make sure you leave those comments down below. But that'll wrap this video up. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.